Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are so glad that you could join us once again for our English News Edition. As usual, I'm Daniel Cook, your host, Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. In today's breaking news, there was an explosion today in an area outside of Fier when two oil wells suddenly ignited. The wells belong to the oil company Banker Petroleum. The area is now polluted by the gas that has been leaking into the atmosphere, and the police have evacuated the residents who are living in the surrounding areas. The explosion did take place nearby an elementary school, but fortunately, the pupils were evacuated and no one was harmed. There was some damage to the nearby houses, and some of the residents are claiming that the blast left their homes uninhabitable. The Minister of Energy made a trip to the area to hold meetings with the company representatives and some of the MPs of the region. The minister said that the company and the state are both working hard on a solution and that measures are being taken to avoid harm. The minister claims that the gas leakage is not poisonous, but the police have evacuated the residents anyway. Fortunately, no one was killed in the explosion. The residents were scared, however, and they appealed for help. The police have evacuated more than 60 residents from the surrounding areas so far. Representatives from Banker's company have revealed that there was an uncontrolled gas leak during a drilling operation, which led to the explosion. The National Environmental Institute has suspended the company from operation until a further assessment of risk and damage can be made. The Democratic Party chairman Lulzim Basha has commented on the recent developments in the case of Mark Froku during the meeting of the Democratic group. Basha blamed the Interior Minister and the Prime Minister for concealing the request from the Belgian Interpol to arrest Mark Froku. He demanded the resignation of the Interior Minister, Samir Tahiri. He said, "The reason they concealed the request was to control the key witness and to make him say what they wanted, to direct the investigation as they pleased." Rama and Tahiri are guilty of concealing the request from the Belgian Interpol and impeding the work of justice. The resignation of the state police director is not for moral responsibility, as they are saying. It is an agreement, a criminal agreement, to cover the real people responsible for this case, Adi Rama and Samir Tahiri. "We want the Interior Minister, Samir Tahiri, to resign from his post. He is connected to crime, and we do not need any more evidence to prove this," said Basha. The Democratic leader accused the Prime Minister of criminalizing the parliament and the state institutions. He added that the opposition is determined to fight crime and is committed to decriminalizing the government. In the meeting, the Democratic group decided not to boycott the parliament and to vote in favor of the request of the prosecution to arrest Mark Froku. Mr. Basha instructed the MPs to participate in the discussion of the laws and the problems of the citizens. The Democrats will also vote in favor of having the City Council be comprised of 50% women. The Interior Minister, Samir Tahiri, held a meeting today with two Deputy Assistant Directors from the FBI, Chris Warrener and Brian McCauley. They discussed the strengthening of the U.S. cooperation with the Albanian law enforcement institutions, the U.S. support for the future National Bureau of Investigation, and opportunities to expand regional efforts against organized crime and drug trafficking. In the meeting, the FBI leaders commended the Albanian State Police for their work in fighting corruption, organized crime, and terrorism. They expressed their support for the work of the Interior Ministry in its commitment to fighting illegality and the strengthening of the rule of law in the country. The meeting came shortly after Tahiri's recent visit to the United States, where he conferred with the Deputy Director of the FBI, Mark Giuliano. The news about the arrival of the FBI leaders was announced by the Prime Minister himself. He heralded the involvement and expertise of the FBI as good news. As it was expected, the majority overturned the appointments of the President for filling the vacancies in the High Court. The President recently appointed 2 new members to the High Court, but the Socialist Party MPs claim that the President did not respect the law. They say that he did not follow the appropriate procedures when making his appointments, specifically that he did not seek the counsel of the parliamentary groups for the selection of his candidates. The opposition members voted in favor of the president's decree. A bit earlier, the Democratic MP Mailinda Bregu presented two proposals for legal initiatives, which were both supported by the members of the Law Commission. The proposals concern defamatory web pages and holding website administrators legally responsible for slander and libel. The majority has also rejected the request made by the opposition to reduce the value-added tax on energy from 20% down to 6%. The Democrats presented the proposal today in the Economic Commission, saying that this measure is necessary in order to reduce the financial burden on the citizens. The Minister of Finances responded that clearly this was just a play for popularity on the eve of the local elections. He said that such a proposal cannot be granted because of the conditions set by the International Monetary Fund. The Commission heard statements today from two of the candidates for the General Inspector of the Bank of Albania. Both of the candidates said that the bank needs to be audited more frequently. Prime Minister Rama paid a visit to the city of Shkoder today, where he met with the City Council for the regulation of the territory. A large number of police officers were enlisted to patrol the roads in Shkoder for the visit of the Prime Minister. Anti-explosive dogs were seen patrolling every area that the Prime Minister planned to visit. Prime Minister Rama gathered the Council of the territory together to speak about the reconstruction of the football stadium in Shkoder. After the meeting, the Prime Minister announced that the stadium will indeed be reconstructed, but he did not give a date for the start of this project. According to him, the stadium will meet all of the UEFA standards when it is finished. When the Prime Minister was asked whether the stadium will be ready for the Albanian-Serbia football match, he replied only that he keeps his promises. He said that the project will be presented to the citizens of Shkoder within a few days' time. The annual folk festival of Gjirokastra is coming, and the process of selecting artists and performers for the festival is already underway. All told, there will be 50 artists from 12 cities of Albania who will compete in the final phase of selection. This festival is considered by the Albanian Ministry of Culture as one of the most important events for Albanian cultural values. The festival presents a full variety of representation from all the different areas of Albania and their rich cultural heritage. The Ministry of Culture says that the National Folk Festival aims to protect, preserve, and propagate the best values of Albanian heritage. It will include folk costumes, musical instruments, rituals, traditions, crafts, culinary arts, and a great deal more, all created throughout the centuries by the Albanian people. The festival also aims to attract the younger generation and to pass these values on to the next generation. The National Folk Festival of Gjirokastra will run for an entire week, from May 10th to May 16th. The festival will take place in the castle and the historic center of the city of Gjirokastra, a World Heritage Site protected by UNESCO. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the news for this evening. Thank you very much for watching. We will be back again tomorrow at the same time with more translated news in English. Thanks, and have a great night.